Those are the paid members of the audience. Thank you. I'll get you later. So I've had something on my mind recently that I wanted to share with you. Some of you might be able to relate. I just recently got out of a very long-term relationship. Well, actually, it was like 4 years ago, but it feels really recent. And I'm dating again, and I think I'm doing something wrong because it's not going very well. Like, for instance, a couple weeks ago, this guy at work came up to me, and he said, "How about we go out sometime?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Come on, I'm a nice guy, fun to hang out with. What do you say?" So I said, "No." And then he said, "Well, that's too bad, because you're the sexiest, most beautiful girl that's ever set foot in this place." And I said, "Okay, I'll go." So he ended up taking me to this little out-of-the-way place called his apartment in La Puente. Not exactly what I was expecting, but then I thought, well, maybe he's got some sort of special surprise plan. But after about an hour, as I was peeling the tab off my third Schlitz, I realized this pretty much was my surprise. Surprise! But I'm like that other guy. I'm trying to be more positive these days. I read The Secret behind the secret. I did all that. So I'm trying to, just be more positive. And I thought I'd give the guy the benefit of the doubt, And I thought, well, maybe he didn't take me out anywhere because he wanted me all to himself, because he's so enamored with me. And maybe he truly thought that I would appreciate the crackers and cheese whiz more than a steak. I don't know. But then this horrible thought came into my head that I hadn't considered. I thought, oh my God, Deborah, could it be that this guy is just not that into you? And then I thought, no. Impossible. I am the sexiest, most beautiful girl that ever set foot in El Torito, remember? Yeah. See? So just a little bit of self-talk, and I'm getting my mojo back, I'm back to feeling like I totally rule. Like I have this mantra that I say over and over again in my head. It's really simple, but I just say, be positive, Debra. Be positive, Debra. Be fucking positive, bitch. It's called tough self-love. So anyway, back to the positive side. Actually, the conversation flowed really, really well. You know how on first dates sometimes it's like this awkward pause fest? No awkward pauses. Conversation flowed. He talked about a topic that he's extremely passionate about. Him. And he told me that he is very spiritual, that he is a vegan as of like last week, and that chicks totally dig him. Right? And, I know, right? I didn't know how to... Right, I didn't, though. I'm getting to that. But, should have. But, anyway, I didn't know how to respond to that. I didn't know what to say. I'm not going to get jealous, right? Because it's a first date, but I didn't know what to say. So I'm like, oh, so you like to date a lot, huh? And he's like, yeah, I love women. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Try not to get too intimidated by that. And then he said, oh, babe, you got nothing to worry about. You're totally like my second favorite. I'm like, your second favorite? He's like, yeah, there's only one I like a little better. He said that. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just, that's cool. And then I thought to myself, well, that could be kind of insulting if you really think about it, but if you think of it this way, what if he's dating like 30 women? That's not that bad. See, the bright side, right? But then I thought, well, what if he's only dating 2 of us, and I just totally came in last, and that sucks, right? But I didn't have a lot of time to self-talk about them because he was too busy self-talking himself. You know what I'm saying? So he also told me that he had been married and he was now divorced. And I said, oh, really? Why did you get divorced? And he looks me straight in the eye and he says, because I was cold, mean, cruel, careless, uncaring, and unfeeling. True story. Direct quote. So now I'm thinking what pretty much any other woman on the planet would be thinking. I'll change him. I will get him to fall madly, passionately in love with me. Okay? But how? What can I do? What can I do that would be so unique and special that it would make me stand out from all the other women in this town? I know. I'll fuck him. I'm sure no other chicks ever thought of that one. I know. So now it was time to let him know in a subtle way that the mood was about to change. So I ripped my top off. I think it worked, because his eyes bugged out of his head, and he grabbed me and he started making out with me. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then he mumbled something. He's like, love. And I'm like, what? He's like, love. I'm like, wow, this shit works fast. Yeah? And he's like, love, love, I love you tits. That's a start, right? So then he actually did something really romantic, like seriously, like Gone with the Wind. He literally swept me off my feet and started carrying me to the bedroom. And I was totally digging this, but in the back of my mind, I didn't want to say anything, but I was thinking, dude, this is a studio apartment. Where the fuck are we going? Right? So he carries me up to the wall. And we're sitting there. Where are we going now? And he's still holding me with one arm, and he reaches back with the other, and he pulls on a lever, and out pops the bed. It happened, people. And I don't recall a Murphy bed in Gone with the Wind, do you? Everything was going downhill. But so we got on the bed, okay, and we're rolling around, and more clothes are flying off. We're making out. I'm getting ready for the big moment, right? When suddenly, out of the blue, he just stops, and I'm thinking, what's going on? And then he leans forward and he whispers in my ear, "So how was it?" I'm like, huh? So apparently what had happened was we had sex. That came as a total surprise to me. Who knew? And then when he stood up and I saw what I'd been dealing with, it all suddenly made sense. His dick was a nub. I know, right? And so, you all seem to be familiar with the term, but in case you're not, so I can just paint a very clear picture for you. I brought a definition from Webster's dictionary that I can't read. Okay, something as in an ear of Indian corn. I don't get that part. That is small for its kind, a small projecting part or bit, a small knob or lump. It basically looked like a mushroom nestled in a patch of moss. So now it all makes sense. I mean, no wonder the poor guy was cold, mean, cruel, callous, uncaring, and unfeeling. I would be too. I felt bad for the poor guy, but I still wanted to leave. And so I got my stuff and I got dressed and I started to go and I said, okay, it's cool. I'll see you at work. Thanks for the cheese whiz and everything. And he goes, well, babe, where are you going? I mean, I thought that was pretty great, didn't you? And I said, oh, yeah, that was like the best sex I didn't realize I had. That's my time. I'm Debra, man.